Alright, Mr. Natsume's room. A small dark room rented by a visiting scholar from the Empire of Japan by the name of Soseki Natsume. We haven't been here yet. I wonder what awaits us. I remember this room. Like, I literally remember nothing about the trial. I just remember the investigation. Oh my god, it's the cat! February 19th, Mr. Natsume's room. What? Look at this place. Smell it. It's so musty in here. Suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. He does not like it. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. Oh no, she might love it. No, me neither. It's so dark in here too. And is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. You sounded a bit like Suzuto there, Ryunosuke. I think my voice is going out. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garrideb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Probably on the ceiling. I remember him being on the ceiling one of these times. There's no music. Look at all these books stacked up there. They almost reached the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. This volume of books to hand, you'll never be able to short of reading material. With this volume of books to hand, you'll never be short of reading material, would you? No? What a dreamy idea. Bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the books that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. Ah, so reading is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect that conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Does this apply to all of it? Yeah, okay. All of the books. All of the books are now, okay. I know we have to interact with the cat. The cat's the last thing we'll see. Oh look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring the Manikati Neko all the way here from Japan with him? I really think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Fucking, you brought a samurai sword. Forgetting the enormous Dorumo doll that you brought in your luggage? Never mind, I thought she was going to talk about the sword. Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat sure is to beckon good luck to him. Not doing a very good job so far, is it? Actually, it brought us to him. So, actually, it was probably the best good luck he could have ever gotten. It was because we are gods at our job. You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. Why am my eyes such a giveaway? Did you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. All that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? Or why would anyone deliberately break it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. Ah, that's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Excuse me. The desk seems to be wedged in a crevice between the mounds of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat, but surrounded on all sides by these towering old tombs. Surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a secondhand bookshop. Your books. Comedy gold. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 5:45. 4:45. I don't know why I said 5. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he's embroiled in a terrible attack. Must have been on his way back from buying some old books. He did say that, I'm pretty sure. Secondhand book receipt. A receipt discovered in Natsume's room for some books that he had purchased from a secondhand bookshop before the incident occurred. Okay, catty boy, who's our little kitty cat? They practiced all their modeling on kitties in the Eve and the Professor Layton crossover. Oh, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away. I don't know about that. He disappeared in that pile of books as quickly as a flash. The tricolored Miki, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Greybrand? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. It made me feel homesick now. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. And we've been goddamn good at it. I bet he's over there now. He is. It's the Sholmes, man. I remember him being on the books. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There he is. Where did he appear from? And how am I going to remember how to do his voice? He seems to be engrossed in a page of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes? You two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Burra. Yes, of course. The Burra. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazumi Asogi. He died tragically, but you were a great help to us. Yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh. Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least. What an honor, with a U to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr. Oh, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato. Alright, try the other way around, Mr. Holmes, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. What a goofer. What a goober. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to be on my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. They apprehended Suzuki-san in that short amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvement a little. It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can extend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out of the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Is that? Hold on a minute. Okay. Okay. A Study in Scarlet is an actual novel written by Arthur Conan Doyle. Okay. I thought it was a reference to Scarlet Study, which was, Scarlet Study might have gotten the name from that novel, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But Scarlet Study is the people who did the fan translation for the first 2 games. Or for the 2 games. I was like, wow, they're referencing the fan translation team. But then I was like, no, that's just a book. That's just... Please. There's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my perils of wisdom. pearls of wisdom, but fortunately, my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we've had some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madame, I should be only too pleased, and the murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Converse. Mr. Natsume, oh my god, this okay. Mr. Natsume's arrested. God, investigations in this game take way too long. We know this to be the lodging of the Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. Seems that you're assistant in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes? The stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road? Natsume, yes, I believe it was a name, rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Miss Suzuto, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? What? Can't believe he was looking Suzuto squarely in the eyes when feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh? How? I assure you, I had no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. That doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quite verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, man seen fleeing. There's a number of books scattered on the pavement on the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine that the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, it was immediately led me to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? Ba-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, ba-da-bum. Believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you didn't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you, but it was aggravating my faculties. Faculties. Hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books. I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. Oh dear. Ah, tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of the lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I'd seen I ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. First time I ever met a maid from the Great Britain Institute that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to token the social standing of the dwelling therein. Token their social standing? What? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. It is the upper echelons of society. Of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As I can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundaries between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I found great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically, in the retired Army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. Oh? Ba bum 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 bum. What? A fable? A fable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not I impose on the circumstances. Whether or not imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am not well yet certain. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. He's saying he's hiding something. I know what he's hiding, but this room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear friend. Fellow, I assure you, any man who's lost to dwell in a place such as this will stab someone sooner or later. Natsume has stabbed no one. Ah, but sooner or later, as I said. I do believe that's... I do believe that's the issue here. No. Oh no, he's influencing you, Suzuto. That's a dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window. Well, I mean, I can't clearly see that there's a window. Sorts. That's been completely blocked out with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Every time I hear about the UK, they're always like, bro, you got a license for that, or you got your taxes paid for that. This is probably true. It's probably existed. You got your TV license. Oh my goodness. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means have inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closing windows up. While the rich open windows here, there, and everywhere in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. For some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume, their been for living here in London is very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I have done a little digging, discovered that these lodgings were offered extraordinarily low prices. Because the room's so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that is correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, no matter no worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've been told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You can remember that, did you? You can remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? The occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, wasn't it? I'm not sure. Not sure. On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly too. The thing is, it really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. The Sholmes. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but that's why you're here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there's also witnesses who swear to have seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not this is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garrett is? The Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, this is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. Oh, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Garrett's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be relevant or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. So we're gonna go back. Yeah. February 19th, Mr. Garrett's room. You Harrigan. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Yes, rings a vague bell. Although detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Oh, Mr. Sholmes he's in his element down there. Jolly good show. A cup of tea, if you would please, Joan. Did she spell this time? Now then, why don't you tell me what— Ah! This is the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're bally well doing? I will be serving— I shall be— Oh, I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Oh, well, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall ask you to take your leave, if you would be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. Not if you're hiding something. We're deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get as much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck in all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Garrett is hiding something. Since no avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Oh, well, there's Sholmes on the right over there.